Hello and welcome to Habano News. Today I am in Paris with Alain Crevet. He is the CEO of s.t.dupont. S.T.dupont is a luxury brand. They're very famous for their lighters, but not only. They started making luxury bags 152 years ago, a long time ago. Yes, I mean, because I remember you made humidors for the 150th anniversary.
Exactly.
And so it's a French brand. And if I remember it well, the lighter started in 1941.
Yes,
perfect. I did my homework.
Yeah, you did.
I did my homework. That was during the war, by the way. And tonight is a special night because you're going to launch a new product. So it's very exciting. So thank you very much for having me here. First of all, thanks a lot.
Well, it's a pleasure having you here, Laurent, always, you know.
Thank you.
And on top, we are sharing a very nice Cuban cigar, so it's always a good time. As you rightly, recalled, I mean, we are the Dupont family, 152 years, created in 1872. And it was actually originally a travel case, trunk, and leather goods maker for over 50, 60 years, and the major celebrities of the 19th and 20th century, from the Emperor of France, the Empress, the Queen of England, and many more. And then later, I mean, the particularity was we are making all of these cases, and the leather goods were bespoke and coming with special accessories inside. Hence, the famous lighter, which was a special order at the wartime, as you rightly remembered, 1941, the first lighter. And then we created the first, luxury pen, ballpoint pen in 1970s for Jackie Kennedy, who was also a cigar, well, she was a smoker, probably not a cigar smoker.
Her husband was
Her husband
famous.
was indeed.
Yes.
And then, we had this tradition of trying to, create, unexpected collaborations or unexpected, and I was showing you a very old set from Dupont, where we had the lighter, the pen, an old watch, and there was something, a curious object, which was, a lighter, including inside, so it's not a lighter actually, it's a case of a lighter, but with a little, pocket watch.
It's
inside.
Amazing because it looks like a lighter, but when you open it, it's a watch inside.
Exactly. So that was, part of our inspiration, because as I was telling you, talking about today, big launch, we met casually around a good cigar, again, people from Franck Muller. I mean, the head, the general manager of France and part of Europe, and the head of development. And their workshop is not far from our workshop, next to the Swiss border. They are on the Swiss side, we are on the French side, in Faverges. And we were talking about, what, we are having the good cigars, saying, what could we create which would be interesting? And then we said, well, that would be really cool to be able to mix a luxury lighter and even more, a real luxury pocket watch, like a Franck Muller, complicated watch. And that's really where it started, from this object, but then trying to make it one step or two steps, further.
Yes, because this is not a lighter. This is a watch inside a case of a lighter.
Correct.
So I guess after you had this amazing idea, then came the technical difficulties. How do you put a gas tank, the complexity of the watch, and you make them together in one case that is not too big so that you can put it in your pocket?
Exactly. And that was the whole, because as you rightly say, I mean, this one is not a lighter, it's just a case. And it was, in fact, I think it was a quartz, one of the first quartz mechanisms. So it's a very simple watch. So what we said, okay, and we call it now the master lighter Franck Muller Dupont. And what we did is, we started from, here I have one of our latest, your family are Trinidad, so it's the Legrand Dupont. So we took the Legrand, but we pumped it up a little bit to be able to add, sapphire glass on both sides. And then we integrated in that, thanks to the Franck Muller people, their complicated watch, skeleton watch, okay? And what is really particular, so it's automatic, of course. It has 3.5 days of, reserve. So you wind it, and on the back you have the whole mechanism, and on the front you have the hands, hour and minutes, but the seconds is on the back. So it's very interesting because on top it's another complication because these ones go this way, that one goes the other way. So it's super complicated, and all the hands and the mechanism go through the gas tank of the lighter. So imagine, I mean, it really took us like a couple of years and a lot of headaches, but all of these people, whether they are the Franck Muller engineers or the DuPont ones, they are very passionate, so they really love the project. And in the end, after almost 2 years of work, we came up with this famous master lighter with 4 different finishes, and they are absolutely gorgeous. I mean, I think you're going to show it a little bit later.
Yes, I mean, I cannot wait because it's going to be presented tonight. Tonight is the official launch.
Yeah.
You're having a party upstairs and you're expecting some people, you're expecting the press. What is your target clients for this? Is it going to be the most complicated lighter? Because you have a big range. You have some, it goes from $150 up to the most expensive is Le Grand, and then you have the complication. I don't know, how do you call them?
Yeah, you're correct. I mean, in fact, what we call our catalog products, and we start with some what we call the Jet range, which is relatively affordable, around 150 to 200 euro. But then it goes all the way up to, line 2 and Le Grand, which is really our core business, which is around 1,000 to 1,500 euro. And then we move into what we call the haute creation, high creation. We have a bespoke custom atelier. And here we can do anything. So we have a lot of pieces which people order, sometimes a one-off from 8,000 to 10,000 euro. Sometimes, we have a couple of complication lighters, one which is called the Casino, which has a Casino roulette wheel, embarked on the lighter, which is for 40,000 euro, actually. So that today, that was the most expensive, the 40,000 euro lighter. And the new ones, is indeed the most complicated one, the master lighter. So depending on the finishes, it's gold, or it goes from 50,000 to slightly over 60,000 euro.
Okay. You are certainly, without doubt, the luxury brand that caters the most for smokers, but cigar smokers. You've understood the needs of the cigar smokers, no doubt, because you're making all the cases. You're very close to the Cuban brands, but not only. I think you've done something with Arturo Fuente.
Correct, we did with Arturo Fuente. Now we are doing also something right now with Jorge Padron, and we created a full range of Padron lighters, and Fuente, Padron, and of course, the Cuban brands.
The Cuban brands, okay.
But in fact, I would say, like in DuPont, you have 3 categories. You have what we call the catalog, which I talked about, we have the Jet lighters, line 2, Le Grand, etc. And then we do all of these, collaborations, partnerships, and they are really, one is really in the area, you rightly said it, of cigars. So we really try, and for us it's very important, probably because also, as we both are, I mean, I'm a huge fan of cigar, and my father before me, so I really wanted to have something special dedicated for that, and therefore we do this collaboration with Habanos, Fuente, Padron, and the rest. And then we always had also an area where we were working closely with arts and entertainment. So we did, for example, in the past, some of the James Bond lighters. We are doing right now a collaboration with Warner Bros. And, Game of Thrones and stuff like that. And we had famous painter Picasso, who had a whole collection of DuPont lighters and doing some, special drawings in which we re-edit from time to time. So that's why we really have this, as I said, the art and entertainment, the cigar universe, and then the base catalog. And then on top, we have this atelier, this workshop, haute creation, where we do everything bespoke. So that's where we create, and that's where we created this famous master lighter.
S.T.Dupont is an old brand, old French brands. There are a few others here. That's what makes the fact that you're a French company very important, because you have a tradition of doing products. But there is a particularity in your brand, is that there is something different. Maybe it's because of you. There is something. For me, if I didn't know, I would say there is something a little bit British in the sense is maybe it's because of your personality and the fact you're rock and roll and you like this. You've taken the brand. Is that you who has taken the brand? You've kept, of course, the traditional luxury brand and the products that you do, but you really like going into a sort of other side, less traditional. You've done something about the Rolling Stones, you know, Game of Thrones. You like this. It makes fun. It makes your job a bit more fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, you're right in what you're saying. And I think, you know, in our businesses, generally speaking, we are talking about, you know, art de vivre, art of living, and people that enjoy, you know, connoisseurs that enjoy all of the good things in life. And also a little bit like, you know, the dandy, you know, a lot of gentlemen mostly who like, you know, nice cars, nice spirits, you know, nice food, nice, you know, cigars. So that goes all a little bit together. And of course, I'm very French, but I always, you know, also had some inspiration. You know, I love Great Britain. You know, I love the British dandies. I love indeed rock music, so that's why, you know, I play a bit of music myself.
More than
And
a bit.
and indeed, I mean, we did this collaboration with Rolling Stones or Fender guitars in the past. It worked quite well, and it adds a little bit of, you know, modernity and kind of a cool, chill dimension, which I think adds up well to the not too traditional dandy, you see. And even you are talking about Le Mans. Le Mans is the same. I mean, frankly, you know, we were approached, and I think the only other major brands, you know, you have Richard Mille and Rolex also are partners to Le Mans, but they did not have so many luxury brands. And we saw that, you know, it was also the gentlemen love good cars and races, so it was kind of logical to be part of also of this universe. So to me, it's really this kind of, you know, art de vivre for gentlemen and ladies, but, you know, which can be, and it spans, you know, the French have it, the Brits have it, the Italian have it, all with a slightly different angle. We try to be a bit more French, but I think it, you know, it covers a lot of ground.
Yeah.
The Swiss have it.
Yeah, the Swiss have it. Yes. A big part of your business is in Asia.
Mhm.
China was probably because of its size and the development in the past 20 years, or in your case, you've been here for 17 years. You've seen China grow and Asia become a big chunk of your sales. How do you see the future? Is India coming up as well? Because I heard, I mean, India is 1.4 billion people, and I know some big brands are moving there. So what do you see as far as development is concerned? Where do you see the demand coming from?
I think, you know, if I talk, I mean, you know, there are two different things. There is a general, you know, luxury context, and then there is our case, you know, DuPont. You're right. I mean, we are indeed, you know, Asia is big for us. We said about, you know, over 50% of our sales in Asia. But interestingly, in our case, our the two biggest markets were, you know, Korea and Japan, and then only number three was, you know, China and Hong Kong, Greater China, let's say. And so I think we still have, in our case, quite a bit of potential in China, which is a bit different. I mean, lots of major luxury brands are a bit suffering these days, as you know, because they invested a lot in China, and there is, everybody knows, I mean, I kind of, there was a bubble in China, and it's kind of, you know, bursting a little, and there is a, you know, real estate crisis, and the economy is not doing so well, so people are spending less. But in our case, luckily, I mean, I was in China not long ago. We are just opening a new shop, in fact, not far from Shanghai, in Hangzhou Tower. Very nice, and then we had a lot of people for the opening, and I was positively surprised that there were a lot of cigar lounges opening up, you know, both in Beijing, in Shanghai, etc. So there is really a, you know, a crave for our categories of product, which is still developing in China. So for us, I think, you know, Asia is going to keep being an important region. But you're right. I mean, in saying, like, you know, India is another 1.4 billion people market. And I think it might take a bit of time because, you know, the Indians, they are pretty much also in their own culture, and they have, you know, beautiful local artisans. But definitely big brands from LVMH and others started to invest and to open more shops. And I was there not long ago, and in fact, cigar consumption is also, a lot of people smoke, but the culture of really good cigars and lounges is not yet there, which is good news to some extent, because I think for us, by keep on working with our friends of Habanos and the other, major cigar brands, Fuente, Padron, and the rest, we can certainly also develop. So I think for us, definitely some growth is going to keep coming from Asia, and India is going to become a bigger part. In fact, we just started, our operation. We did not even have a distributor. We just hired a distributor, and we are starting to bring in a few lighters and pens in India.
Wow.
So it's really the beginning, and I'm hoping, but I think it's going to take some time. I don't expect it to be big, but maybe in 5 to 10 years from now, it could be a very big player.
What I find surprising is that there is from the Western countries in general, especially from the governments, there is a will to impeach people, to prevent people from smoking. They closed the lounges in Amsterdam. To be honest, if you create a smoking lounge that is not open to the public, I don't see how you hurt people. If they know that they willingly come to smoke a cigar, I don't think it's the biggest problem that we're facing as a society, but that is another issue. What I mean is there's a big pressure on people not to smoke cigars or tobacco in general, and it's coming. They're in the UK, they're trying to put pressure on that. I think the UK has other problems that they should handle, like the French or the Dutch. But at the same time, I have the feeling that, especially around me, a lot of young people want to get into cigar smoking and everything that goes together with, which means sitting down in a nice place, a lounge, buying a nice lighter. And it seems that with the social media, young people, they know everything. I mean, they know so much. So I guess that especially in Asia, when they see people like Jassim, for example, or the influencers showing all their products, the trend and the lifestyle of the cigar smokers. So it's the opposite. It means that there is demand now for younger people, and the governments are trying to ban it at the same time. So it's very weird, because you feel that, as you said, you have new lounges open all the time, and in Doha a few days ago, I met people who came and said, "Oh, I've just opened the lounge. I'd like you to come and see my lounge." There are people opening lounges all the time, so there's a need.
Absolutely, and I think you're very right. I mean, there is a huge paradox, and I think, frankly, it's a bit of a shame in the sense that, I think the authorities, I mean, the various states, don't really understand, and I think we are trying. I mean, not us, because we are just DuPont, but I think, now a lot of cigar manufacturers, are trying to, as you know, cigar smoking is totally different from cigarette smoking. I mean, cigarette smoking definitely, damages health. I mean, it's, first of all, you smoke lots of cigarettes, you inhale, there are a lot of chemicals. Cigar is a totally different thing. I mean, it's a connoisseur thing. It's one leaf of tobacco. There is no additives, there is no chemicals added, nothing. And as you rightly say, and I mentioned it, for me, it's an art de vivre. So it's really going like, it goes together with enjoying the good life, having, sitting with friends in a nice environment with a good glass of wine or spirit or whatever, talking about whatever, business, friends, politics, etc. And this lifestyle is gaining traction even more, particularly in Asia, but everywhere. So you're totally right, and it's good because of social media. People like, Alex, Cigar Dandy, or Nassim Ahmed, and others, or you, actually, no, but really, and it's very important because I'm very pleased to see actually that, I was saying when I went to China, there was, 2 new lounges opening in Shanghai and in Beijing. I was in Japan not long ago. I was going to my usual, Grand Hyatt Maduro lounge. It was packed with people, young people and ladies, 30, and then my friends took me to also, they have a Cohiba atmosphere and a new lounge, from Pacific cigars also, and super high-end, lots of people, very good service, and it's really, it's an enjoyment. It's not like, you wake up in the morning and say, I have to smoke. No. I mean, you just get with friends in the evening, a couple of times a week, and then you have a good time and enjoy a good cigar. It's totally different. And I think the states, the government don't understand the difference between compulsive cigarette smoking, which is bad for health, and nice cigar smoking with friends, which is, if anything, I would not say it's good for health,
No.
but it's probably like, it's relaxing and it does good to you, actually.
Tobacco was initially a healing thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, the Indians, for what people understand, it's relaxation. Is that once you had a smoke, some people have a smoke once a day, some people have once a week. And it's what they call a me time. It's a time for me to relax. And there's also another point. I think that with technology, people are very lonely. People are on their own at work. They are on their own in front of social media. And this is a way for people also to meet and share something. And there is something I found in the cigar community, which is really important, and that's friendship. Because when you go to a lounge, and if you're on your own, wherever you go on this planet, you will meet people.
It's very true.
And it's somebody that has something in common with you, and usually a lot in common with you. Because the people will probably enjoy the food, a lifestyle. So you'll be able to share. And it's, for me, very important. When I travel, and you travel, you know what it means. You're always on your own. When you travel, you're very lonely. You end up in your hotel room, which usually looks like every hotel room.
Yeah.
And then you go to meetings, and then you end up being on your own again. So when you go to a lounge, you usually feel very comfortable because you are surrounded by people, I would say in a way like you, even though culturally they might be totally different. But because you share this in common, it's a great way to feel good far from your home. And for me, it's been really important in my life to be able to meet other people through the cigar.
It's an excellent point, actually, and it's the first time I hear that, but I totally agree. And in fact, some of my best friends today, are still, I met some people, as you rightly say, in lounges. I have, for example, a very good Korean friend who lives partly in Korea and in the US, and we, every time when we travel both, we meet. Same, I have a very good Japanese friend, and again, when we were, in Doha, in Qatar, or even later in Kuwait with Mohammed, same thing. So these people come from totally different horizons, sometimes totally different businesses, but they have this thing in common, which is enjoying a nice. It's a me time, but it can be a me time also sharing with other people.
Yes.
You have a lot of things in common.
But I don't know if you noticed it, but when you smoke, you put yourself in a sort of bubble. For me, it's a good time to think about my life and things I have to do, and it's a bit like yoga without the carpet and the exercise. But at the same time, you can share this with somebody else who smokes a cigar, but not with somebody else who smokes a cigarette.
Absolutely.
You see what I mean?
I totally agree. Yeah, it's really different.
Yes, and this ability to, you can smoke on your own if you want to, but you can also start a conversation and it will not bother you. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're at the same level in this sort of concentration mood, and you're very relaxed, in a way a bit weak as well, because it's a time where I wouldn't say it's like a massage place, but it's a place, it's a moment in your life where the cigar is actually taking over the time.
And it's really interesting what you say, because it's also a moment and a place where people don't try to impress. I mean, you will meet people, lots of people coming from various, as I said, businesses, fields, or whatever, and they are just here to have a good time and chill out, relax, exchange, and of course often you start talking about cigars or about the drinks, and people also. I was also very positively surprised. gift a lot, saying, look, I have this amazing, why don't you try? I brought, when I go to a lounge, I take at least, one full case with me, and I have at least, like, I don't know, 3 or 5 or 6 cigars with me, and you gladly share for people, I never tried this one, let me try. And that's really nice. I mean, you don't have many places in the world where you actually do that.
And there are not many activities where you can do this, because I know the wine community, you don't carry around your bottles
No.
or the samples. In the whiskey, they do that. They bring those little bottles that they can exchange, but it's not that comfortable to travel with. But it's something that, if you enter the cigar community, I always say that to the youngest people, you don't have to bring expensive cigars, and you don't impress anybody with expensive cigars, because you can smoke a very cheap bottom of the range Partagás or Romeo and Julieta. It doesn't matter. And what is amazing is then you start talking about cigars to somebody who's been in the community for a longer time, and then that's it. The conversation has started. And I do it, you do it. If someone in front of us, we understand that maybe doesn't know about original edition that I have, or a cigar like this one, it's La Gloria Cubana Torquinos. Not that easy to find, but a beautiful cigar. Then, you offer it, and it makes somebody else's day, because you always remember, I got this cigar from this guy in this place. Maybe they'll forget you. They don't know your name. Usually you don't even introduce your name. In your case, being the CEO of s.t.dupont, it's always good because everybody knows s.t.dupont.
Yeah, so often I get, to share. But you're right. I mean, sometimes, as I was saying, it kind of, there are no boundaries anymore in those. I have an example of a good friend of mine who did his military duty. In France, we used to do that, and he did that in the Marine. I mean, he was like, on a big boat, and he's a cigar lover forever. And he was on the deck of the ship, and he was just having a cigar. He had a few cigars, and there was a gentleman also coming, and he exchanged a cigar with him. Actually, it turned out to be the admiral of the fleet. Okay, well, they remain friends. I mean, I was at a dinner, and this guy now is the top admiral in France or whatever. And the guy had, my friend had a special event where somebody had to make a speech. The admiral came and made a speech saying, well, we met around a good cigar, and I did not know. So it's really like, I mean, breaks the boundaries in a very nice way.
Yes, and there is no social classes in the cigar. We don't care. People don't care what you do, where you come from. If you love the cigar, and what I'm impressed with is that I started when I was 21. You started young because your father died. Your father smoked when you were young, I guess.
Exactly.
At that time, it was very difficult to get information. You smoked what your father smoked, or what you could find, but we didn't have this access to information that there is now. So younger people, they can learn a lot very quickly. What took us years and years, 10, 20 years to learn, young people can learn it in a few months. Because of social media, because of internet, and especially with Cuban cigars and the history, or even, as you said, Padron or Arturo Fuente, everything is online. The different cigars are more or less accessible. Some are a bit expensive, obviously, because now prices have gone up, but still, people nowadays, they have access to a lot more cigars and a lot more information.
Yeah, I mean, you're obviously right. I mean, when I started, my dad used to smoke a Monte Cristo No. 4, and I thought for me it was the only cigar. And then afterwards, of course, I learned that there was many more to it. And today, you're right. I mean, with the various influencers, with the social media, with even some good magazines like Cigar Aficionado and many more.
L'Amateur
you can really have Amateur du Cigar.
Cigar Journal.
Exactly. Yes. So I mean that's really good, because then you can really learn. I learned a lot myself, on Cuban and non-Cuban cigars, the various origins, the various sizes and shapes, and So, but and I'm amazed now. I meet sometimes 20, 22, 25-year-old people that know so much.
Exactly.
Yeah, they are real connoisseurs even at a young age, which was not possible really so much, when 30 or 40 years ago,
Yeah.
when we were young.
They have young brains too. They learn faster than we do.
That is true.
Because nowadays to learn takes
A bit
more
more
time.
time.
Yes, I too started with Monte Cristo number 4.
You see?
That was the
Very
cigar
good
I smoked
cigar,
for
actually. I still
years
like
and years.
it.
Yes, I do. It's a beautiful cigar to start. Monte Cristo is a great brand,
Great brand.
and it's a beautiful cigar to start with. If you have, I don't know how much it costs, probably 10 euros, 12 euros, maybe.
Yeah, it's a reasonable, yes.
So it's reasonable, accessible. So it's a good cigar to start with. So tonight during the party, you are going to sing and play, because this is one side of you that I discovered at the Phoenicia party in Cuba on the Tuesday night.
Yeah.
You came with your guitars and your band called the Managers. So now I am part of your fan club. I don't know if there's an official fan club, but I'm part of it.
Only friends.
Only friends, okay. But it's really fun, and you are having so much fun.
Well, in fact, it's interesting because it's a similar story in the sense that, in the Managers, I mean, we have been playing together for many years, but we all love cigars. And we are in totally different fields. I mean, one works as a VP for Disney, the other one is in IT, the third one has an advertising agency, and me, I'm in charge of DuPont. But what is bringing us together is music and cigars. Okay, and that's where we ended up. In fact, when I was in Cuba last time, we were just smoking cigars. There was a little band playing the first time 2 years ago, and they said, we know you play a bit of guitar. Why don't you come on stage with us? So I said, okay. I had my cigar, went on stage. We played 2 or 3 songs from Beatles. I can't remember, and that's where our friends from Phoenicia and Walid say, why don't you come and be part of our big event on the Tuesday in la Feria del Habano? So we came with all my friends who love cigar, which was a great week. And then again, in Doha, they proposed us for a 55th anniversary of Trinidad to be part of the evening. So it works quite well, actually. We call it Guitars and Cigars. And it's a fun time. And again, we play like half an hour, only relatively famous rock songs from, Beatles, Rolling Stones, or whatever. And it's, again, a good time for sharing after a few nice cigars and drinks. So we'll present the beautiful master lighter, we'll have a few nice drinks and cigars, and then we'll play a bit of music, and then, we'll wrap up the night whenever we feel like it.
Did you notice that your band is mentioned in Cigar Journal today?
I didn't know. Well, but I'm happy about it.
Alejandro Aguilar wrote an article in Cigar Journal, and it's mentioned that the Managers played at the end of the Trinidad event. And I wrote an article for Cigar Universe, which is an Indonesian magazine, cigar magazine. And I also mentioned that. So you're going to be mentioned in Cigar Journal and in Cigar Universe.
Well, so thank you for that. But you see, to me, music is a little bit like, it's a bit similar to what we talked about cigars, which is like, when you start to play music and you're really there to, share your music with people, to be happy, and it's a similar thing. It breaks boundaries. It allows people to chill out when you sing or you dance, or so I think it goes well together with this universe of, art de vivre, having a good time with good people.
So I guess it's one of your hobbies.
Exactly, and it's also very relaxing. I mean, like, I tried, when I'm in Paris, I try to get together with my friends once a week, actually. We have a little, rehearsal room, or we do some gigs sometimes in bars, and it's always, similar. We get together. We first of all start with a nice cocktail or a drink and a cigar. Then we go and play for a couple of hours, and then we wrap up maybe with another cigar, or maybe not, depending on our how much work we have the following day.
Okay. So now that the lighter / Franck Muller watch lighter is launched, any product in the pipeline that you can talk about, or Is there anything going to happen for the cigar aficionado in as far as products are concerned
Well,
that you can talk about?
of course, I mean, right now, as I was saying, we are finishing now the Padron partnership. But then for 2025, I mean, we are luckily we work very well with our friends of Habanos, and they have a few nice anniversaries coming down the road, including something on Behique, something on Romeo y Julieta. So I think we are going to be, doing some interesting new product also to keep the partnership going on these beautiful brands. And then also, I mean, with Franck Muller is just starting. I mean, actually, we already had some pre-orders, even though the product is not even yet, I mean, it was going to be presented. We had a few prototypes which have been presented on various occasions, but tonight we're going to see the real deal. But I think we already have 60 or 70 pieces sold, which isn't bad because in reality we don't have many. It's numbered. It's only 88 pieces. We have 4 finishes. As I said, we have a white palladium. We have one with it's all in we have a white, matte black. We have one which I call crazy colors with a famous dial of Franck Muller with beautiful different colors, and a very famous blue also, the Franck Muller blue. So we have 4 times 88 pieces. So call it 330, 40 units for the world. And we already, before it's even presented, sold over 70 or 80 pieces. So I think it's going to be going, flying off the shelves pretty quickly. And just I was saying that because we are already thinking of what else could we do. So
interesting.
So we are. I don't know if we are going to make another, even more complicated or something. We also we make lighters, but we also make pens. So we are thinking, would we be able to make a complication pen which would embark a watch? That's even more of a challenge because it's a smaller space. So I'm not saying we are going to do it, but it's part. I was talking. We are talking about that. It did not come at all, this project, from a marketing approach.
Yes, you said we didn't turn up saying, how can we make an even more expensive lighter? Voilà. It wasn't the point.
It wasn't the point at all. It was really saying wow, it's exciting. I mean, frankly, how could we mix a beautiful lighter, a beautiful watch, and try to make a pocket watch lighter at the same time? And that's why we said, okay, now that we made it, can we make something even more spectacular? So we are thinking and brainstorming.
So in a way, you're stepping into the watchmaker's world, and so not only smokers, people who like lighters, are looking at this Franck Muller lighter watch. Your product is also attracting watch collectors as well.
Well, it may be interesting for watch collectors because sometimes I was telling you this original lighter, case of lighter which was embarking quartz watch was actually used by some people who were not smoking. I mean, they really liked just the idea of having a pocket watch which would look cool and different. Okay, but frankly, we don't have, I would not say that we are trying, frankly, they are magnificent watch brands, Swiss mostly, which have a lot of expertise and craftsmanship, and we don't have that level. That's why we want to remain modest and partner with some of these very prestigious watch brands. So we are not going to do ourselves the movements. But we may do more with Franck Muller or with others. I mean, frankly, and it's again, I mean, maybe it's going. I hope it's going to attract also some, watch lovers. But it's more, again, it's starting from,
a cigar. Everything
a good cigar and friendship and I like that. I mean, that's one of the things which is particular for DuPont, which is we don't really have a very articulate marketing approach. We can do some marketing, of course, but sometimes we just do projects just out of passion. That's all.
But I guess there's a lot of investment. Because when you start looking at something and you put some engineers, the time they put, it's probably very exciting for them because, I mean, engineers, you have to keep them, and if they're not challenged, I'm thinking as a scientist myself, you need to be challenged. So it's probably very exciting for them to do what they've done.
What you say is so true. I mean, in fact, I always tell them that's why we have this little workshop which we call the haute creation, the bespoke products, and I always make sure, and I know it's the same in Franck Muller and probably in many other, our engineers team. I mean, say okay, probably 2/3 of your time you should work on the traditional. I mean, we have our product program. We know for the coming 1 or 2 years down the road what we have to do, etc. But then I try to keep also, I don't know, 1/3 of the time or their time available, saying, guys, you can have 1/3 of your time just to brainstorm crazy ideas, stuff which are totally new. Surprise me, come with something which is totally unexpected. I'll give you one example, which actually did not really work, but maybe it will come back at some point in time. It was a few years back, 5, 6 years back or whatever. I had said to my engineer, saying, surprise me, come with something crazy. And the guy came, I went to the factory, to the workshop, and the guy had invented, it was on a table, I still remember. He was saying, look, Alain, I created this crazy thing. It's a water lighter. What is that? He said, yeah, look. So it looked like an installation, literally. So there was a little basin with water, and then something which looked like a chemical installation. And the guy was actually distillating the water and transforming it into H2O, so hydrogen and oxygen. And then he had a trigger which was put in the flame, and it was actually burning the hydrogen. So I said, wow, that's super cool, but I'd like to make it more compact because who is going to? So actually, they succeeded. I mean, they made one thing which was a table lighter, which was working from water and electricity.
That's what we do at school. Usually there's an explosion.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we did the first prototype, and then actually it turned out to be extremely complicated because first of all you had to plug it all the time. Then the electrodes kind of decay after some time, so you have to change. So it requires a lot of technicity. To say, okay, I mean we are not ready yet, but maybe as technology. So it's just an example of a failed.
Yes.
So they probably spent quite a few hours to do that, and we did not launch it. But
yeah, it's hard to create a sparkle.
Exactly. Keep them always energized and keep their creativity going. And that's what also brings the next generation of innovation.
So that there will be evolutions, you think, again in the way you make a lighter?
Yeah, I mean probably. I mean, you remember, I mean, that was also one of the first, the first complication lighter, we called it complication lighter, we did like 7, 8 years ago. And us, being both, cigar lovers, I noticed in the lounges, people, some like to lit it up with a soft flame, but some really like the blue flame, the torch flame or whatever. And I was saying to my guys, aren't we able to put in the same lighter a mechanism which would be able to switch from,
yeah, I mean, this
soft flame
on its
to
own,
blue
if
flame.
you'd asked me before, I would have said, no, how do you do that?
So they did it first in this complication lighter, which we are selling for like 20,000, 25,000 euros. And we sold it quite well, but it was only like 60, 70 pieces for the world. And then I challenged them saying let's, again, make it more miniature so people can have it. And we created Le Grand. And that Le Grand Dupont, I mean, that's, you have the nice, fat, double
Like
soft
a match,
flame,
like a
exactly.
match.
And then if I push, it turns into the blue flame. I just push it up. So this is a patent which we've been, and frankly, 10 years ago when I came, I did not even think that we would do anything like that. But now we have it, and it's one of our best sellers actually. This famous Le Grand, which moves from torch to soft and back.
It's very,
Cool.
it's very
So I think there are ideas. We even tried at some point in time to make an electric lighter to be able to, which was like a allume cigar,
Yeah.
And it worked actually, but it's not very nice. I mean, it looks like you have I don't know how you call it, une resistance, and then you plug it, and again you have it's a bit like an iPhone or.
Yeah.
But it was not, and again even in the planes, and people wanted to remove the resistance to make sure. So it was not. It turned out to be too complicated. Again, one of the so a lot of ideas, and probably like half of them will never see the light and never be launched. But some will. So I think there is definitely still ways to keep improving, this industry.
Oh, that's good news. That's good news. But it's very impressive. It's a very impressive piece of. I was going to see technology, but yes, there is a lot of work in there. Huh?
Yeah. And we have today we have few years back, we only had like, 80, 90 people at the workshop, which is already not bad. But today we have 130 because, the volume expands. But we don't want to go too fast. See, same, I mean, I often get the question saying, what are the plans for DuPont? And I say, well, the reason why we are able to do such, incredible objects is because, we are also, small and we take our time. And sometimes, one lighter, I mean, it takes, I'm looking, it's 60 hours of work and 150 handmade operations. And there are like more than 150 spare parts inside. So, and to be able to, train our craftsmen and craftswomen, it takes sometimes 1 or 2 years to really get them to the level we want. So that's why we we cannot move suddenly to 500 people. We move from 90 to 130, and maybe we'll do 150 in the future, but we go slow. And most of the things we do get sold out, which is the way it should be.
Yes. So you have kept the production of the lighters in France.
Yeah.
For you, it's important because you're a French brand, and also because of the knowledge you have. You didn't want to do what many companies do, even in the luxury market, which is move to cheaper operating cost places.
Totally true. I mean, in fact, to be totally transparent, I mean, 80% of what we are doing in terms of revenue is all 100% French-made in our workshop. Or the only thing where we made an exception is for our entry jet lighters, where I really wanted to have something because, we were starting, when I joined, the first price was like 600 or 700 euro. So you had the choice between a big at €1 and then straight 700 euro. Or in the middle, you had a Zippo, but which smells like gasoline, and so for cigars, it's not too good.
Yeah.
So we designed a mechanism, but then the assembly of the jet is made in China. So that's the only exception, because I really wanted to have something which would be, and I really tried hard, to see if we could automatize and see if we could do it also in France, but with the cost of labor in France, we were not able to do something and sell it below 200 euro, which would give us any margin at all. So that's the only exception. About 20% of our production, which is a jet range, is assembled in China, but the technology, the burners, all of the thing is made in France. So that's where we.
Understood.
C'est un Franck Muller? Non.
Non, les contenus, non, ça c'est des briquets avec des Stones of Fortune.
Yeah, that's a new collection we are working on with Stones of Fortune. We put beautiful,
Oh, it's
semi-precious stones.
it's a stone.
And now you have the king as well.
Fantastic.
No, I think it's
That will go well in Asia. They love the stones. Huh? They do.
Merci.
The cigar-related accessories, lighters, cases, everything you do around cigar or tobacco, I would say. What size is it compared to the whole turnover of S.T.Dupont?
It's still the number one category for us. In fact, the total, lighters and cigar accessories, it's about 55% of our revenue, over 50%, sure. And then the rest, call it the 45% remaining, is split about half pen, 22-23%, and the other half, leather goods, like wallets or briefcases, another 22-23%.
And are you thinking about developing ranges for ladies, or are ladies happy with the? Do they consider your products unisex?
Well, what we try to do is, to answer specifically your question, originally, as I was saying, DuPont was making this amazing luggage, trunks, travel cases, and they were unisex by nature. And they were coming with accessories, bespoke. So what we are trying to do now is bring back, a little bit of that. So in our leather goods, for example, we recreated some lines which are more designed for ladies, others are more for gentlemen, but lots are very unisex in nature. Be it, the wallets, the long wallets. We have these very nice clutch bags which can be used for cigar, but also for clutch bag for a lady to put, makeup or whatever.
Like the one you made for Trinidad, which
exactly.
About?
Yeah. You have the Trinidad bag, and we have a few here.
Yes.
We have a tote bag of Trinidad, and you have some So this sells actually quite well in a unisex way. And for the lighters and pens, actually here, it's more, I always take Rolex as an example. I mean, like, see, Rolex, they did not try to make specific, I mean, they have the very recognizable Rolex style. If it's for a gentleman, GMT Master, whatever, it's relatively big watch, 40, 42, or the Submariner. But then you have smaller versions, which are designed for ladies, but you still recognize the style.
Yeah.
So we did the same. I mean, for example, we have, for example, we did lately what we call the Twiggy. And the Twiggy is, well, it's in the jet range. But you see, when you recognize, okay, this one is more a masculine version because it's black and silver. But you have also a gold version, or So some of our products we design to be like, but you can also use it. It's actually a pretty good cigar lighter. So sometimes I use it myself. But this one, we have about 60% of the purchase made by women. Of course, Le Grand, 70% of the purchase or 80% is made by men.
So they're still, because it's sleek, it's light, it's easier to handle for a smaller hand,
Exactly.
I guess.
Exactly.
Okay.
We have our Slim 7 also, which is very much used by ladies because it's very easy to put in a purse, or they can also use it even for candles.
Yes.
So but we really try, you see, I mean, mostly we try to think unisex. I mean, not too much, we don't do
Pink,
too much.
pink
Exactly.
collection, which
And it's really interesting because, when we were in Cuba last time, one of my right arms, Fred, had a special, it was clever, he made a party for ladies, ladies cigar smokers. And he was, asking them, showing them our lighters ranges and some of the accessories, saying, what would you like ideally? And he was jokingly saying, would you like to have a pink version? And they all said, laughing, thank you very much.
It's a
No
stereotype.
pink version. We love to have, the Trinidad or the Cohiba or something, something unisex. We don't want something super girly, a Barbie type of, Maybe a few ladies would like that, but mostly, most of the ladies who we met wanted something which would be really unisex in nature.
Yeah, there are more and more ladies coming to the cigar events, especially, in the UAE, which is a run culture. There are a lot of ladies coming. We have our friends from Cigar Senoritas. And it's actually, I mean, if, for example, if there are ladies who are a bit shy to come, it's not an issue. They're extremely well accepted. And it's nice to have ladies coming to the lounges and to the cigar scene. And we have now ladies who take all the Habanos exams and sommeliers. And, they are welcome. I noticed that there are more and more women coming into the cigar scene.
I agree. I think it's very good, and I actually think that it's extremely elegant for a woman to be able to enjoy and smoke a nice cigar. And I was talking about what I saw lately in the lounges, both in Japan or in China. Probably at least 1/3 of the customers were ladies, and they were not just coming to accompany their boyfriends or husbands or whatever. They were really coming to even some groups of ladies coming to enjoy a good cigar. So I think it's a very good news for us.
Do you have people contacting you all the time for made to order special orders?
Yeah, we have lots of requests. Here again, I mean, we of course we try to accommodate as much as possible. We try to listen and and cater to our customers' needs, but we have limited capacity. So I mean, we have to choose a little bit, in the various things. I mean, like in Faverges, there's this little workshop called Haute Création. It's only like 5 people, so they can do only a limited number of pieces. We make maybe, I don't know, 200 to 300 pieces every year in total. So you cannot, meet the demand of everybody.
So that's lighters, it's special bags, cases, and everything?
Yeah. I mean, it's again probably over half, is a request for special lighters, and the rest is some, exceptional pens or some, specific bags or cases or humidors or and we do, sometimes we also work or subcontract with with other people because we are not always experts in a really good humidor. We need sometimes to work with some of our Spanish friends, or we are good friends with LD Bleu, or so, it's a small universe, as you know. So we and we like to work together, so it's easy.
So tomorrow, if you need a bag, you would like a bag where you want to put all your stuff, for example, all your cases, and you travel with a lot of things. How much would it cost? 5,000, 10,000 for a special bag?
Oh no, it really depends. I mean, you see, for example, here you have the Trinidad
It's a tote bag.
okay? Now this started, originally from a special order from a customer who wanted to have what he called a wine and cigar bag. He wanted to have something where when he goes to his friends, something which would be a bit unisex. So he could put like, one or two bottles of wine, his cigar case, etc. So we did that originally for him, and it costed probably, I don't know, like 1,500 euros. It was not very expensive, all in leather. And then some people asked for the same version, but in crocodile. So here it was more expensive, of course.
Yeah, because
like,
you have to go and kill the crocodile, and it has to
we
be a
kill by
special
hand.
crocodile.
But it was this one, the crocodile versions were more like 10,000 euros or something like that. But then more people ask, and Trinidad, particularly Habanos friends, asked for Trinidad, and they also asked for Partagas. Actually, we also have a version for Partagas with the specific aesthetics of Partagas. This one has a Trinidad monogram. So this bag sell for around 1,000 euros. So it's very affordable.
There is a licensing issue. You cannot just come tomorrow and do a Vegueros bag if you.
No, I mean, we always do it like, in collaboration and
With
upon
that.
request of, Habanos or maybe, I mean, Carlito Fuente was saying, maybe I would like to have something special. So maybe we do something for him, but it's always part of a collaboration. We don't do,
No,
we have already too many requests, to be frank. So if people want something bespoke, then we make it, non-branded and with a
Yes.
special finish, a special leather or special exotic. Some people would like to have it in, I don't know, snake or lizard. And we have some, see, I think I have my own, but this was part of a special series we made for, voilà, see, it's an S.T.Dupont. This one is a yellow python, okay? So, but we had like 20 or 30 pieces where people were asking for some very specific finishes, which we did bespoke for them. And it was not very expensive either. I think these ones were selling for, I don't know, 500-600 euros.
luxury, but still affordable.
Yeah, still affordable. I mean, it's, sometimes I get this question from some female friends saying, I don't really know what to offer to my husband, or he loves cigars, what could I find? I say, well, come, we can show you a nice cigar case, a nice cigar bag, a pouch, I mean, many things.
So if my wife is watching this video and if she's looking for a present for me, S.T.Dupont is a very good choice. Now, my wife actually bought me some S.T.Dupont last Christmas. She offered me the Linea Maestra ashtray and the cutter that you made.
Thank you very much to Mrs. Laurent.
Yes.
But it's true. I mean, and me, I like, things which are a bit strong in terms of, color, but you can also have it, in... we had some very beautiful, I think I still have it, some gentleman, and then voila, we made two. See, this one is a real crocodile, much more discreet.
Yes.
It was a unique request, so we did like 2 or 3 pieces, and then I kept one. I mean, I try to always keep one sample, which I put in the museum.
Of course. Christmas, big season for you for presents?
Yeah. Yeah, because we are, in the end, we are a gift brand. I mean, some people, of course, as we talked about, ladies offering to their partners or husbands or whatever.
And now husband offering to their wife.
To their wives, exactly. And then also some people offering to themselves. Saying, okay, I worked hard this year. I'm going to get myself a nice from the collection of, Cohiba or Trinidad or... So yes, I mean, you're right that for us, the two big seasons are Christmas time, the Chinese New Year, February, and sometimes also Father's Day. Not so much yet Mother's Day.
Maybe it will be a sign that women are really taking over the cigar scene. I saw your figures because you have, if I remember it well, fiscal year starting on 1st of April.
Yeah, it's
like
April
the British.
1 to...
like the British.
Laissez-le, s'il vous plaît, oui. Yeah,
It's like the British, huh?
we have a
1st of
British
April.
fiscal year, April 1 to March
Yes,
31st.
so you had the 6 months to the end of September out, so figures are good.
Yeah, I mean,
Congratulations, because I saw a lot of luxury brands and the stocks. You know, this is my background. I worked in finance,
I know you told
and
yeah.
it's a difficult time. So you must be happy, because I mean, at the end of the day, it's not just about making nice things. You have to make it profitable, and you need to make money, pay the salaries, and continue and invest and in new products. So it's a good year for you.
Yeah, I mean, we had 2 excellent years. I mean, the 2 previous fiscal years, we did double-digit growth. I mean, like, over plus 20%. So that was really quite nice. This year is slower. I mean, we are like, single digit, and we hope to finish the year. I mean, right now we project plus 6 to plus 8% compared to last year
In sales?
in sales. And revenue is up, and also like, the bottom line also is up. So it's good. I mean, it's encouraging because, lots of groups, as you said, are kind of down versus last year. So we are still up. But there is a general slowdown. I mean, and I think it's normal. I mean, people are a bit more cautious in terms of consumption. I mean, whether you look, into the Middle East or to, of course, Russia, Eastern Europe, or, and there was in the US also, before the election, people were holding back a bit consumption, even in France. I mean, political context is a bit complicated these days. So I think people are a little bit more careful in their spending, and you feel that in every business, I think. But so far, fingers crossed, we are still doing okay.
Maybe it's also the fact that you have a wide range in prices. So if you need to buy something, and you could go to any other luxury brand, they would turn to you because you have in the different ranges and the different prices. You can cater for a lot of people, and if they cannot maybe buy the Le Grand, they will maybe buy the Line 2.
Yeah, the Line 2 or even the Jet.
Yeah, the Défi Extreme. And so yes, maybe it's also because you are very well positioned on the price range also.
That's true, and that's why we're talking about it. Here. It was really a marketing approach. Saying, when I joined with my team, I was thinking we had only the premium range, Line 2, and there was no Le Grand, and everything was from 700 euro to 1200. I was thinking, well, we need to, as I explained, having some stuff which would be more affordable, around 150, 200, 250 euro, and also some more expensive pieces for people who want something more exclusive. So here we did a marketing segmentation and developed ranges of product which would cater to the various customer segments. And that's probably, you're right, what is helping us, and also the fact that we are relatively well spread geographically. Meaning, like, we have, as I said, Asia is still over half of the business, with Korea, Japan, and Greater China, the top 3 markets. But still, like, Europe is quite big. France, UK, Germany, Switzerland, and also Southern Europe, Italy, Spain. And then we are progressing well also in the US. Of course, the whole Eastern European front has been almost disappearing, but hopefully it will come back one day.
Yeah. How do you explain that in the luxury brands around here in Paris, not many people have looked or are looking at the cigar-related accessories, because you don't have that many competitors?
I think you're right, and well, first of all, I would say it's a relatively lucky chance for us, and it's bringing us back to the discussion we had before, which is, there was kind of, because of the government actions, against smoking, and people were scared a little bit to be associated with the whole tobacco industry, or so that's why, in fact, but interestingly, it's changing a little bit. I mean, see, we had not long ago 2 requests coming from, very prestigious fashion brands. I mean, we had Saint Laurent, who asked us to develop, like, a small range of lighters for them, which they sell in the Saint Laurent boutiques, which I'll show you, like, it's just behind me. And even Vuitton, who also asked to develop a special Vuitton lighter, So they are starting to have some interest and develop a small range of accessories, but they are very careful. I think they are worried, well, which I understand. I mean, frankly, the government are so. And again, I think, frankly, it's for lack of understanding of the cigar universe, which, frankly, I think is not as harmful as what they think.
And also the fact that, as you say, there's a big paradox. It seems that the authorities want people to stop smoking, and then the people go the other way.
Yeah.
Well, they want more lounges, they want more product, and they want this lifestyle or this community to exist and to develop. And we saw that when we attended, every time we attend an event, it's full of people.
It is.
And young people.
And more and more, I mean, I actually was talking with a friend and an English gentleman who was telling me, I did not go for, so many, to London lately. I went a couple of times, but only for one day. And he was actually telling me that there are quite a few lounges that opened in London, very high-end lounges, private clubs or whatever, and even lots of palace hotels have also included, specific cigar lounges. I mean, just recently we are also linking with the Chopard family, who are friends of our shareholder, the Schäufele family, and they have a beautiful hotel in Place Vendôme next to their shop, boutique hotel, and they are. Right now, I think they are opening it these days, just before Christmas. They are opening a cigar lounge in the hotel. So there is indeed, I mean, there is a real demand from customers, and I think it's, again, the government should think twice, because the more you forbid, this type of things, and the more, I don't want to be pessimistic for them, but I mean, if you do that too much, you recreate the prohibition type of reaction. Exactly. And in Paris, you even have, probably you've been, there is a little club called Gentleman 1919, close to Champs-Élysées. Beautiful place, very nice people. And it was one of the clubs which was always opened. It's a barber shop, and then only when behind there's a special wall, you open, speakeasy, and then behind there's a beautiful bar and a cigar lounge.
Yeah. It makes it even more exciting.
Exactly. And it's full. I mean, every night when I go there, sometimes, with friends or whatever, always packed.
Always packed with people, yes. And also I discovered that there was, I don't know if it's still on now, but there at the parliament in France, the National Assembly, there was a big group of cigar smokers. They used to have events.
Yeah.
It still exists?
It still exists. Sometimes we are, sponsoring some of the events. Yeah.
So what's amazing is, these guys, they have to vote against tobacco because of,
that's politics. Okay?
Yes.
I mean, again, and again, I mean, I understand. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think there is, general health constraints or whatever, and it is also true that cigarette smoking have been causing a lot of deaths. So you have to be, and it's difficult unless you really understand the difference between a cigarette and a cigar, and the doctors are also very dogmatic, saying any smoking is bad. So for example, I mean, only educated doctors. I mean, my cardiologist loves cigars. So when I go for my yearly checks or whatever, the guy says, "Oh, are you still smoking?" I was saying, "No, man, I don't smoke any cigarettes. I only have a good cigar." Every now and then, probably like 4 or 5 a week, or I say, okay, as long as it's only good cigars, that's fine.
That's fine. Yes, exactly. Yes, I believe that governments should actually concentrate more on the food and the bad food and the damages, because I really think it kills more people. Diabetes.
Exactly. Yeah, right. There are so many, but it's, the cigarette smoking, of course, is, something which is an easy political, matter to carry. And then on the surface, it looks good. And it's true that it costs a lot of money to heal people from, ill from cigarette smoking.
But in the US, they're starting to understand.
Yeah. I think
there are new bills where the politicians say, okay, well, there's the premium cigars, and then there's the tobacco and the cigarettes.
Yes.
And they are really now even targeting vape.
Yeah, which is bad, because frankly here you are, those vape guys are targeting the very young smokers with very strange, flavors, bubble gum or whatever, and the people that are 14, 15 start smoking that. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that can be very damaging and
Yes,
and
because they don't
dangerous.
breathe. They spend the whole day with, and that can be good. I mean, somebody who smokes cigars would say that, but I mean, we don't walk and smoke cigars. We don't, it's only a small time of the day when we smoke. We don't carry this stick all day long. These guys walk in the street with a vape, and like it cannot be good. They inhale water as well, which
No, I'm really hoping that, I mean, we're talking that also. I mean, we are both positive people, so I'm hoping that this thing is going to ease up a little bit. Because frankly, sometimes when I go and check, the various sites, or I follow, like, you guys, influencers, and if you want to go on a site and, look for comparison of the latest cigars, you have like so many filters, are you sure? Are you over 21 of age and this and that? I mean, like, you can get anywhere online a very ugly pornography or whatever. And then, to just, go on a cigar site, I mean, you need to pass 20 doors to be able to, it's ridiculous. And we are wanted to ban, even cigar magazines and...
Yes. I have a lot of my videos which are banned. And I don't sell tobacco. And I don't force people to smoke, obviously. I talk about the community of people who are adults and willingly enjoying the whole. It's not just the smoke; it's just the whole lifestyle and what it means and where places to go to. And I can feel that there is a big pressure to prevent that. But I could be selling, extremely bad food, full of sugar and bad product and a lot of preservatives inside, and I wouldn't have any issue. And I'm not sure that on the long term we are doing more damages. I mean, of course, that's personal. I'm preaching for.
Yeah. No, and I fully share your viewpoint. I'm smiling because I think that what we are doing here, you and I, is normally totally forbidden by law.
Yeah.
I mean, in France, you cannot smoke in the office. Now, luckily, I mean, in Dupont, I have a comité d'entreprise, and they I never had any complaint or anything from people saying, oh, well, the president is smoking cigar in his office. I mean, first of all, I open the window. I don't do it when there are people coming for meetings, or and people realize that it's not bad. But I mean, that's again, normally by law, I'm not allowed to smoke in my office.
Yes, it's very rare. Thank you very much, because maybe one day in the future, I hope not, we will say, "You remember when we smoked in your office?" But no, I know the feeling, and it makes it even better, because it's something special and exceptional. Well, thank you very much
Thank you,
for
Laurent.
your
It's been a
time.
pleasure always.
It's really. I cannot wait now to go to the party. And see you play and see this masterpiece that you have put together. I wish you good luck. But if you've already sold a lot, so it's already done.
Yeah. It's off to a very good start, and again, I think I'm pretty sure that we'll sell out the whole thing. So don't hesitate. If you really want to treat yourself for Christmas or after, get one of these master lighters, Franck, Muller, DuPont, or any of the other beautiful DuPont products, and you won't be disappointed. The quality, for sure, is there.
Yes, I know. I probably have 30 or 40 lighters from you. So I actually probably 20 years ago bought some old ones that I could buy secondhand on the market, because it's something we haven't mentioned, is that it's something that lives forever. When you have a lighter, it's something that will pass. So it's circular economy. You don't throw it away. You can always have it repaired, and you can pass it on to the next generation.
That's actually a very good point, and we can close on that, because frankly, it's something as I say, I'm from a cigar smoking family. So my dad, of course, was smoking his Monte Cristo No. 4. He had a beautiful DuPont lighter, And when I, graduated from my master, in HEC, he gifted me a Dupont lighter. Well, I still have the Dupont lighter, which he gifted me 40 years ago. And I still have his lighter, which is probably 70 years old, and it's perfect shape. I mean, frankly, it's a little bit like the Patek Philippe, advertising, saying you can go from generation to generation, and that's something that and that's exactly the way we want to do it. I mean, to me, it's real luxury.
Yeah.
That it's so well crafted that it can last, decades or even century, and it will remain very good.
And they age well. It's not always the case with leather bags, because when they're too old, then
They
they
can
start
degrade,
falling.
yes.
Yeah, they can fall into pieces, or they can look a bit sad. But a lighter, when it starts to look older, it's a bit like a man in general. With age, it can even look
ages,
good.
Yeah, absolutely. It's true, because it gets a patina. It's and both the lacquer and the because it's all either in lacquer or plated. We have some solid gold, but plated gold or plated palladium, and that ages extremely well. Actually, I like them even better when they are aged a little.
Yes, I love these old lighters. I use them in my office because most of them are just the yellow flame. So I don't use them outside. I only use them indoors.
Indoors, yeah.
Yeah, because also you have lighters for indoors and outdoors. Because obviously, when you smoke outdoors and you light up a cigar, a lot of people say, "Oh, why don't you use a match?" I mean, first of all, I make a mess every time I light a cigar with a match. It's usually complicated. But when you're outside, there's a bit of wind. You need the torch is a lot easier.
Yeah,
And I
the
guess
blue flame,
younger
the
people
torch.
now, they like the
Absolutely.
torch.
Yeah, that's why we actually developed those lines. And even when I travel, often I take the torch flame, because it's if I lose it or whatever, it's always a shame if I lose a 1,000 euro lighter or more. At least if I lose a 150 euro lighter, it's my heart bleeds a little bit less.
You can survive, even though it happens. We've all lost a lighter.
Yeah.
In our life, it's part of. There must be someone on this planet who has all of those lost lighters, and probably able to open a shop with that. Well, thank you very much again, and I will see you tonight. Good luck. I'm sure it will be good. And you have a good team, by the way. I met a few of your guys, and they are like you. They are very approachable. They're very down to earth. They're extremely nice guys.
And they're all passionate about our products and the cigar world. So I think we are it's a nice fit, and always a pleasure to do interviews with you.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Bye bye.
So don't forget, for Christmas and the birthdays, there's always a product for you.
Get a Dupont. My good old friend who passed away, Karl Lagerfeld, who did a series for us actually, was saying in French, "Chez Dupont, tout est bon." Okay. At Dupont, everything is great. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you very much.